The Gita opens in a moment of stasis. We stand at the threshold of the Kurukshetra war, where formations are locked and violence is imminent. In this silence, the Kaurava prince, Duryodhana, approaches his military commander, Drona. He appears to be providing a standard assessment of the opposing force. This is the Mula Shloka, or the root verse of chapter 1, verse 3, exactly as Duryodhana speaks it. The literal English translation reads, "Behold, O teacher, this mighty army of the sons of Pandu, arrayed by the son of Drupada, your wise disciple." On the surface, Duryodhana is providing a factual battlefield update. He points out the size of the opposing Pandava army and identifies the commander responsible for their formation. It functions as military exposition. The classical Sanskrit commentarial tradition, known as Bhashya or Tika, approaches the text as an architectural puzzle. These scholars treat every syllable as a deliberate choice with specific intended effects. To examine the layers beneath Duryodhana's words, we will look to the frameworks of two prominent scholars, Sri Madhusudan Saraswati and Sri Dhanpati. Their analysis suggests that verse 1.3 is a highly specific intervention. They argue that Duryodhana is using his report to Drona as a means of behavioral control. Under this lens, the nouns and adjectives Duryodhana chooses are designed to influence his commander's emotional state by resurfacing past conflicts and challenging his ego. We will step through this single verse word by word to map the internal logic of Duryodhana's phrasing and see how it functions to provoke his general. We begin by isolating acharya, meaning teacher, establishing the power dynamic between prince and commander. Madhusudan Saraswati identifies a conflict. Drona is facing the Pandavas, his former students. Because he taught them, he harbors deep affection for his opponents, a concept Saraswati identifies as priya shashyeshu. This affection creates paranoia for Duryodhana. He fears his general will hesitate in battle, refusing to use lethal force against his favorite pupils. For Duryodhana to succeed, he must find a way to neutralize Drona's affection and replace it with a more aggressive drive. The commentators identify his objective as Krodha Tishayam, the incitement of extreme anger. Merely describing the enemy's strength is insufficient to change Drona's disposition. Duryodhana must build a linguistic mechanism to trigger this shift in temperament. Next, we add the phrase Drupada Putrana, meaning by the son of Drupada. The enemy commander is named Drishtadyumna. Duryodhana, however, pointedly ignores his given name and uses a patronymic instead. Scholars Sridhara Swami and Nilkant point to the history behind this choice. Drupada is the king of Panchala, a man who had a bitter, lifelong rivalry with Drona. This is Drupada Purva Vaira Suchanena, a deliberate reminder of past enmity. By forcing the name Drupada into the conversation, Duryodhana moves the focus away from the students Drona loves and toward the rival Drona hates. It activates a visceral, emotional response before the battle begins. A factual update has been transformed into Krodotdipana, the active stoking of anger through the memory of a personal grievance. The final elements are Tava Shishena, meaning your disciple, and Dimata, meaning the wise. This phrasing highlights a paradox. The commander who has arrayed the enemy army uses military tactics that Drona himself taught him. Madhusudan Saraswati suggests Duryodhana is highlighting Drona's mistake. He provided the science of war to the man destined to kill him. Dhanpati notes Dimata, the wise, is a double-edged compliment. The enemy is wise for extracting lethal knowledge from his target. The implication? The teacher was a fool for providing it. Dhanpati calls this Dava Maudhyam, a direct challenge to Drona's intellectual standing. This semantic choice forces Drona into a corner. To salvage his pride, he must now fight aggressively to prove he is still the superior master. While these triggers are aimed at Drona, they also reveal a great deal about the speaker. When we view the complete logic of the verse, Dhanpati's meta-commentary offers a diagnosis of Duryodhana's mental state. He identifies Nigudam Dvesham, a hidden malice. Duryodhana does not just distrust his enemies, he harbors deep resentment toward his own commanders. This condition is sarva bishankitva, a state of profound paranoia, where a leader trusts no one, viewing even his mentor with suspicion. The attempt to manipulate Drona through these linguistic triggers is a projection of Duryodhana's own insecurity and his constant fear of betrayal. The analysis shows that verse 1.3 functions as a sequence of linguistic triggers. It uses the structure of a report to apply intense psychological pressure. By selecting specific descriptors, Duryodhana attempts to replace a teacher's affection with the drive of personal ego and historical hatred. Commentators like Madhusudhan Saraswati and Dhanpati look past basic translation to find the behavioral cues embedded in the Sanskrit syntax. They treat philology as a tool to reconstruct the internal logic of the speaker. This granular analysis demonstrates that in the Mahabharata, the most significant conflicts are often established through words, defining the terms of the war long before the first arrow is released.